Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 1 of our league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on October 10th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play at whatever format everyone wants. Spooky League Challenge, Thursday, October 24th at 6 p.m. Surging Sparks pre-releases start Saturday, October 26th at 1 p.m. and League Cup Saturday, November 23rd at 11 a.m. All Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, Dragapult. On the right, Regidrago. Looks like our Regidrago player is going first on the right. They played a nest ball, and they found a Regidrago V to add to the bench thanks to the nest ball. Looks like they attached a grass energy to the active Rotom V, and they are continuing their turn now, taking a look at their hand and deciding to play an Ultra Ball. That item card allows the player to discard 2 cards in order to search the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. Maybe another Regidrago V could be good to set up here, or even that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and it looks like that's what they're actually going to go for, to help accelerate energy to the board and draw more cards. So Ultra Ball finds the Teal Mask Ogerpon, that gets added to the hand. I imagine we'll see it gets benched just right there. And then I seen a grass energy in hand, so it looks like our player's eyeing up a Teal Dance. Accelerate a grass energy to the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and then draw a card. This energy acceleration does not count towards the single energy attachment allowed per turn in the basic rules of the game. And finally, they're going to finish things up with a Rotom V Insta-Charge. Draw 3 cards, and then your turn is over. Now play will start over on the left on Dragapult's side. Pheasantipity EX in the active spot. Not the greatest, but they are able to find a Buddy Buddy Poffin to play here on their first turn. That item card allows the player to look through their deck and put up to 2 basic Pokemon onto the bench that have 70 HP or less. Dreepy and Pidgey are attracted to those Poffins and hit the bench here. Another Dreepy would be ideal if the player can find one this turn, so they play an Ultra Ball of their own, discarding 2 cards, searching the deck for actually a Rotom V to add to the bench here, to be able to draw some more cards to have for their next turn. We'll see if there's anything else they have to play in their hand before using Rotom V's Insta-Charge to end the turn. Really not too much else going in the hand, so Insta-Charge, drawing 3 cards. Play is passed back over to the right hand side here, over on Regidrago's side. I see an Ultra Ball in hand, so we should see a Regidrago V-Star this turn. Ultra Ball will discard very nicely that Dragapult EX and the Giratina V-Star in order to search the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. Getting these Evolution Dragon Pokemon in the discard pile is exactly what this Regidrago V-Star deck wants to do, where Regidrago V-Star can copy the attacks of Dragon-type Pokemon that are in the discard with its Apex Dragon attack. Ultra Ball does find the Regidrago V-Star Rainbow. Our player evolves the Regidrago V on the bench to the Regidrago V-Star. And it looks like there's not much else to do in the hand other than to play the Judge Supporter for turn. Counter Catcher's not live. The Dragapult EX is just in there to get discarded to get copied with Regidrago V-Star's Apex Dragon attack. So our player plays the Judge Supporter. Both players shuffle their hands into their deck, and then they'll each draw 4 from the top. The Great Equalizer. Definitely disrupts your opponent in their hand, but you're kind of on the same level as them. Obviously, you build your deck around being able to play that Judge, as a fire energy is found and attached to that Regidrago V-Star on the bench. Its Apex Dragon attack, of course, costs a fire energy into grass. So we're not quite powered up yet, as the Rotom V retreats into the Regidrago V-Star, and that Power Glass tool gets attached to it now. Power Glass says at the end of your turn, after you attack, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to it. So we're going to try and sneak some energy attachments to the Regidrago V-Star with this tool here, as a Regidrago V is put onto the bench. Rotom V-Star uses its instant charge ability to draw 3 cards, ending the turn, and now I believe the Power Glass will trigger, accelerating that grass energy onto the Regidrago V-Star. Play resumes over on the left here with a rare candy, allowing that Pidgey to evolve straight into Pidgeot EX. They have the quick search ability online now that allows them to search their deck for a card once per turn, but not before an Iono is played, to disrupt the opponent, see some new cards, and then decide what to quick search after the Iono. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players will get 6 here off of the Iono. Now Pidgeot is using quick search to look through the deck for a card, and it looks like that Dragapult EX was found. Rare Candy allows the Dreepy to evolve straight into the Dragapult EX. We've got 2 Stage 2s on turn 2 online. Looking pretty good for our Dragapult player here. Now they just need an energy, maybe that Sparkling Crystal, and a way to get Pheasantipity out of the active, but they don't have all the pieces they need quite yet. So Rotom V-Star, draw 3, pass things back over to our right-hand side here. Regidrago V-Star. This player puts another Ogerpon EX onto the bench. I believe they attached a grass energy to the active Regidrago V-Star, so it's now fully powered up. Their Power Glass play is paying off for them here with the fully powered Regidrago V-Star in the active. We've got Dragon Pokemon in the discard pile to copy attacks. So we're looking pretty good for an attack here on the right hand side for our Regidrago player. Didn't quite see what was all in hand as they take a look. We got an Iono, so there's a way to see more cards this turn. It looked like they might have had an energy switch, but it doesn't matter. Iono was played. Remember, both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of the deck, and draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players still seeing 6 new cards here. Maybe an energy attachment, or getting another energy on the bench. Regidrago V could be nice here with something like an energy switch to start prepping it for next turn, as we see the second Regidrago V-Star evolving on the bench here. I think I've seen a Hisuian Heavy Ball in hand, so if there are any basic Pokemon prize, they can be liberated with that item card. But first they're going to go for a Nest Ball. That item has the player search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. You guys remember if you can play a Nest Ball if your bench is full? Let me know in the comments. Nest Ball will find that Arceus V to add to the bench. And that gets established there. Mostly in here to evolve into the Arceus V-Star and have options for V-Star power. Interesting take on the Regidrago deck we are seeing here at locals. The only place you see stuff like that. come on down and play some Pokemon. Doesn't look like there's too much more in the hand to play. I assume that Regidrago has, no. Yes, it does, actually. All the required energy needed to attack with Apex Dragon copies a Dragon-type Pokemon's attack from the discard pile and use it as this attack. I think we will see Dragapult EX Phantom Dive be copied here. 200 damage to the active Pokemon, and then you can put 6 damage counters on the opponent's bench Pokemon however you like. All 6 of them will go on to the Rotom V, and play will resume over on the left-hand side now. Dragapult EX's side, with a Buddy Buddy Poffin being played to establish another Dreepy onto the bench. It's got 70 HP or less, so we can bust that out with the Buddy Buddy Poffin. Arven is played next. That supporter allows the player to search their deck for an item and a tool card. The tool card can either be that Forest Seal Stone or that Sparkling Crystal, or even the rescue board, just depending what's all in deck and what the player needs right now. They're going to take a good look through their deck, make sure they assess all of their options properly, and finally decide on pulling a Sparkling Crystal tool and an Ultra Ball item out of the deck with that Arven. Sparkling Crystal gets attached to the Dragapult EX as well as a Psychic Energy. Ultra Ball gets played now, discarding a couple cards in order to search the deck for a Hawlucha. Hawlucha has a Flying Entry ability. When you put it onto your bench from your hand, you may choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 1 damage counter on each of them. Perfect to put on each of these opponent's Ogerpon to bring them to 200 HP, since that Dragapult EX swings for 200 damage on the active Pokemon, of course. And Quick Search is still online, I believe, as well. So we're probably going to see our player go back in for that here shortly. No KO was taken, so Pheasantipity EX Flip the Script is not online right now. But that Quick Search is, and we are seeing that being used to pull a card out of the deck. Any card the player chooses needs for this moment. Eyeing up that Arven for next turn. So I wonder if they have a switching card in hand. Pheasantipity EX has 1 retreat cost. So looks like our player may just be taking this turn off again and Rotom V Instacharge, draw 3, and end the turn. Play will resume over on the right hand side here. They're going to start things off with a Teal Dance, accelerate that grass energy to that Ogerpon and draw 1 card. Fire energy manually attached to the bench Regidrago V. Arceus V-Star comes into play now on the bench. Now we could use Starbirth to find a couple cards, but then that means Regidrago V-Star cannot use Legacy Star later, as only one V-Star power can be used per game. So our player's taking a good look at the board and the hand to see what they want to do, how they want to progress this turn. The really only playable card in there is the... I guess they're all playable cards in hand. I'm not quite sure what the Lance supporter does. I'll research it if it gets played. But we'll see what our player does here over on the right hand side. They've got the attack already ready to go. And looks like they're going to use Starbirth, Arceus V-Star's V-Star power ability. When you flip that V-Star marker, just pretend it was there and it got flipped. The player may search their deck for 2 cards, any 2 cards. Once per turn, or once per game, of course. But This allows our player to put themselves in the best possible leading position, giving themselves a chance to stay ahead in the game and take the dub. Two cards were selected there from the deck off of Starbirth. Not quite sure what they were, but I imagine we'll see it soon enough. Ooh, the Prime Catcher and something else. Yeah, 4 prizes can be taken here if done correctly with the boss's orders, bringing up that Rotom V into the active spot. So with this play, I would have liked to have seen the 6 damage counters from the last Phantom Dive have gone somewhere else, since this Rotom V only has 190 HP and the Phantom Dive does 200 damage, excuse me. This damage is sort of wasted here and could have been put on the board elsewhere, and for example on a Dreepy or something if that was out. Either way, the job gets done here, and 4 prize cards are taken here as 200 damage is dealt to the active Rotom V, and then the remaining damage counters put on the Pheasantipity, knock it out, and we'll see if they any more are put anywhere else. So enough damage was put on to the 1 damage was put onto the Pheasantipity, and then 5 more go on to the Dreepy, causing it immense pressure here as Dragapult EX floats into the active position and play resumes over on its side, over on the left-hand side of the screen here. Usually the free retreater gets pushed up so you can see what your top deck is and figure out who you want in the active as the turn progresses, but our player knows they want to put the Dragapult EX in the active spot. They play the Hisuian Heavy Ball to look at the prize cards, and they may switch the Heavy Ball with a basic Pokemon they find there. No target selected, so the Heavy Ball just goes to the discard pile. The attack is there currently, so quick search will be used to maybe find something like the boss's orders to knock out this Teal Mask Ogerpon with a 2 energy on it. But we'll see what our player selects off of the quick search here. Looks like it was another Dragapult EX. Rare Candy allows the Dreepy to evolve to Dragapult EX. The pressure's gone now for it as it has much more HP. Maybe a better place for that damage would have been on the Hawlucha, or at least one of the damage counters going onto the Hawlucha, so a Phantom Dive can take the KO on it next turn, as our Regidrago player only has 2 prizes left to take here. But never count the Dragapult deck out. That's definitely a play from behind comeback style of deck, as well as the Regidrago, since it has the Dragapult EX in there, but we are definitely seeing the Regidrago being the aggressor here. The Sparkling Crystal, of course, says when the Terra Pokemon this card is attached to uses an attack, the attack costs 1 energy less. So Dragapult EX can't attack for the 1 energy that it's got on it. The Night Stretcher is played now to bring back from the discard pile the Pheasantipity EX that gets put on the bench, and it uses its Flip the Script ability. If a KO was taken on your opponent, or if a Pokemon was knocked out on your opponent's last turn, you can draw 3 cards. Fire Energy attached to the bench, Dragapult EX. I see the Counter Catcher in hand, and that is live since the Dragapult player has more prize cards remaining than the Regidrago player. So the Counter Catcher brings up the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX into the active spot. Briar is played now. That supporter can only be played if your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining, and then when your Terra Pokemon, if your Terra Pokemon knocks out one of your opponent's Pokemon, take an additional prize. So Dragapult EX uses its Phantom Dive to knock out the active Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. 6 damage counters are placed onto the bench Regidrago V-Star, and then 3 prize cards are taken there thanks to the Briar. Regidrago V-Star flies into the active spot over on the right hand side and play resumes there. Let's see if they can clean up this game. Ultra Ball being played now. Discarding a Raging Bolt EX and a Lance. And I think with that Raging Bolt in the discard pile now, our Regidrago player has game. But we'll see how they play out the rest of this turn. That found a dragon Pokemon, I believe, the Ultra Ball did. I didn't see it quick enough. Yeah, they've also got the Prime Catcher in hand, so I think there's a multiple win conditions here. I think we're going for Raging Bolt's Bellowing Thunder. Alright, we'll for the sake of the video, we'll say that's what was used. Raging Bolt in the discard pile has the Bellowing Thunder attack. You discard any number of basic energy attached to all your Pokemon in play, and it does 70 times the amount of energy you discarded to the opponent's active. There was 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 7 is enough, I'm sure. Let's bust out the calculator. Oh yeah. More than enough to KO the 320 HP Dragapult EX for the last 2 prize cards of the game. What you think of this video and the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.